as we appreciate the Honorable Minister, we also want to see some trends, especially when it comes to the meningitis. I realized he talked about 100 plus issues, 16 deaths that have been recorded, and 20 plus patients that are hospitalized. So we don't know whether the number of deaths is going to increase by the end of the meningitis period. We raised this issue of the meningitis belt, and Ghana, where we are placed, we are not going to be away. So we want to see more robust approach as to how this meningitis issue will be covered. The honorable member that just spoke had talked about other ministries. I had noted here the multi-sectorial approach. If you look at what the NPP government did during the COVID time, it brought various ministries together to have a task force. And if we are dealing with cholera, which we know that is as a result of sanitation and water issues, we would have expected to see more of an approach which is bringing in the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water, the Ministry of Education. Then, of course, we have Environment, EPA. We know EPA deals with some approvals and how our environment is being taken care of. So we want to see from the Honorable Minister of Health to have a very strong interministerial committee, as was put up by the NPP government during its time when we had the issue of COVID. This will be a better approach. We believe it can help us. And in addition, Honorable Speaker, we realize that we have a huge private sector health providers, and most people tend to benefit or go to the private sector, about 52%. But how are we incorporating the private sector in our approach in terms of carrying this issue in terms of cholera, meningitis, and MVP? So we want to also see how best the private sector will be brought in. Then maybe this one I want to bring in. We have a huge backlog of health professionals staying at home. As a pharmacist by myself, we have a huge amount of backlog of health professionals staying at home, and majority of them were employed by the just gone government. We wanted to see how best we can bring in all these health professionals so we don't get them to stay home. Especially, Mr. Speaker, when you are treating this issue, you tend to have pharmacists or pharmacy technicians that are supposed to help you administer this medication. Then we have a huge backlog of pharmacists that are staying home and have not been brought on, and there are processes that the outgone government was bringing them on board. So we want to see that the minister can also take into consideration.